Right, this is the Sony X70 49-inch or 49X7052. So we'll get it opened up from the top. Okay, and I'll just get a quick close-up. So 2 pedestal feet there, quick guide, and I guess behind it, power pack. That's the other foot. Oh, and I will just mention quickly as well, I've got a tape measure again because obviously we've got those 2 feet there, so I'll timestamp in the description a dimension for the width of those feet apart, and also from whatever you stand the TV on to the bottom of the TV there. Okay, so that's the pedestal feet out. On the power pack, so it's got the remote and instruction book attached with the quick guide there. We'll have a look at that in a moment. Pull it out the top. TV out gently. I'll just pop that to the side. So, first thing to take out is a separate power pack there, 19.5 volts. Right, 19.5 volt power pack, short figure 8 mains lead with a figure 8 mains input. We'll see where that goes into the back of the television. That to the side. Remote control, I'll go through the buttons when we get a close-up of that as well. That's a remote, but we'll have a close-up of that in a moment. And in here, cable tidy clips, they go onto the back of the legs to guide the cables down the back of those legs. And there we've got the instruction book and warranty card. We'll have a quick look at the quick start guide. So you can see there, recommends 2-man lift, lay it down, soft surface, put those feet in, then 2 of you stand it up, put it on a table. Okay, quick look at the feet. Again, I will timestamp the dimensions for the feet in the description. If it is a problem, I'll put a link to a video. You can get a universal pedestal stand, so you can have a central twist sort of swivel base. And there's a screw pack there, which also says on it, M4 and length is 10mm. So they're small M4 screws there. Okay, so covered in plastic, but that'll be the metal part that locates to the TV. Well, that locates in it. Screw holes there, but we'll get a close-up of that as well in a moment. Okay, so quick close-up of that remote control there. See, we've got the power button there, source input, still got the button between analog and digital, channel numbers, quick access for YouTube and Netflix, the home button there to get to your home page for more apps and etc., or settings and what have you. Options guide, volume up and down, some buttons there for your play, pause and whatever if you're on Netflix or USB or other types of media. In the back, flick that over, AAA batteries into there. I've got my 2 feet ready. They say M1 and M2 on them. Don't know how well that shows up if I hold it there. And we can see there where that tab locates and the 2 threaded screw holes for those M4 screws. So put one in there. One in. It's nice and solid. To the other side. Again, tab locating into that slot. Screws into the threaded holes. And that is it for that. quick look at the connections on the back there, you can see straight away got a half amp USB, two more USBs, both half amp, HDMI 2 and 3 there, 3 being audio return channel, aerial input, then moving to there, HDMI 1 in, again analog audio or headphone output 3.5mm, and looking under there we've got the optical digital out, wired network or wired internet connection, and then we've also got those old legacy connections there, so you've got the composite video in and red and white audio as well. If I just come out to the back there, that looks to be a 200mm square VESA mount, M6 bolts or M6 screws into those holes, and just across to here you can see that's where that 19.5 volt power pack goes in. I'll just take my lead there, it's my 19.5 volt power pack, it just pushes into there like so. That is pretty much it for the back of it. Only other thing, got a manual control there for power and volume up and down, and the power in there. I'll get a 360 walk around view in a moment as well. Okay, so a quick 360 view of the assembled television. That is it from the side, so we can see the top is quite nice and thin, but it does get thicker towards the bottom. Again, I'll get the leg dimensions and so on in a moment. It's the back of the TV. Okay, so tape measure time. Looking at those legs, we'll get the width first, that's the most critical dimension. So at the widest point there, it is 55 centimeters or just over 21.5 inches. And from the leg at the back to the front of the leg here, so the sort of depth of the TV, 28.5 centimeters or just over 11 inches, maybe 11.25 inches. And from the floor to the bottom of the TV, just over 6 centimeters, just under 2.5 inches. Also mention the thickness, so we'll measure it at the thickest point. Let's have a look. I'd say about 2.25 inches or about just under 60mm. Next thing, we'll get it put on. All I'm going to connect is the mains, terrestrial, aerial and wired into. So first things first, I imagine most people, unless you don't have internet, you're going to just quickly scroll through that, enable smart TV. So easy for myself, I think easy for most people unless they're going to enter specific details. Okay, UK. So I'm going to say agree there. Remote start, not for me. Pin. Just digital unless you do have anything internally broadcasting on analog. Aerial. Okay, so this is now scanning the airwaves, seeing what channels it can pick up. I will skip this for the benefit of anybody watching. Okay, so again, it's picked up multiple regions there, so that is the incorrect region for myself. If you've got multiple regions, it's important to pick the correct one your aerial is facing.
Just better when I went like that. some very humid air.
Okay, so that is its out of the box standard settings. I'll just turn it down for a moment. I've put it onto Freeview HD, so it's just showing the news broadcast there. Doesn't look anything special at the moment. Colours are a bit oversaturated and vivid, so you would probably tone that down straight away and set it up with your own settings. But to start with, I will just turn the sound up so we can hear the audio.
Hello, I'm Ros Atkins. Welcome to Outside Source. China is warning the UK over interference in Hong Kong and over questions about Huawei's role in UK telecoms.
If you want to make China a hostile country, you have to bear the consequences.
The Americas remain the coronavirus pandemic's epicenter. We're going to have reports from Brazil and elsewhere on the continent. And why does President Trump keep talking about postal voting? We'll look at why this has become a major political issue in the US.
Quick access button, see if I can get straight to YouTube. Which I can. Skip there, I will find my own 4K demo. I'm just going to exit this and go back to normal television or live TV.
Curfew was also in place. And this is one of the reasons Florida is taking the threat so seriously. Another stark statistic is that its infections rose by 168% in June. Its daily infection rate is above any recorded by a European country at the height of the pandemic. So Florida is right in the middle of this, so is Texas. Cases there have now passed 200,000 and more than 8,000 people were hospitalised.
Okay, so next thing, just a quick look at the home mode or the apps and so on, so we can see there some of the built-in or some of the pre-installed apps. We've got Netflix, BBC iPlayer, ITV Hub, Channel 4 or all 4, My5, News, don't know what Yup TV is or those, but other apps, Chili I think is on demand, web browser I'm guessing, so I'm guessing that's a photo sort of screensaver there with a clock as well. Some other bits, Freeview Play, so rewind and catch up on demand TV, terrestrial TV, and a few other apps that we have here. So YouTube, YouTube Kids and Prime. Come down, we've got channels there, recording, so one of those USBs, you can put an external hard drive into there. Again, you can also look at your photos, music, videos, your system settings, network settings, customer support and a help guide as well. Home screen recommendations. So I'll just come out of there. So it is a fairly cheap Sony model. It's not a top of the range one, but it looks reasonable for what it cost. I think in the UK they're around about the £500 mark, so I shall call that a day. Which